Hi, I'm Clay Black, LBC Woodworks, Fulton, Kentucky. The banana capital of the world, by the way. Just Google it if you don't believe me. Welcome to my first ever video for my new YouTube channel. I hope this to be one of many to come. And I hope you subscribe and follow along. Tonight, as part of our video, we're going to go through the process of the oil treatment of a freshly made cutting board. Happens to be one of 3 that I just finished making today. And we'll also show you how to maintain a cutting board in your kitchen, and I have some to use an example and show you that process. But before we go too far, this is an unsponsored video, and I want to give a shout out to WoodRiver. They're my favorite supplier. I get a lot of different things from them. I couldn't ask for better lines, better cuts than what I get with their line of WoodRiver Tablesaw blades. Also, all our boards are glued with Titebond III wood glue, which is a waterproof glue, which is important on a cutting board because of the fact that you will wash it. Speaking of washing cutting boards, never ever put a wooden cutting board in a dishwasher. Never submerge your wooden cutting board in water. Moisten it out of the faucet, scrub it down with soap and water if needed, and let it air dry. And then you can just give it a light oil treatment. You don't have to do it every time you use it, but periodically, and you can tell when the wood starts drying out. It's real easy, and we'll show it in a little while. But besides the Titebond, also available at woodcraft.com, Howard's cutting board oil and butcher block conditioner. The cutting board oil is what we use on the initial treatment, which we'll go through 2 to 3 coats on a fresh board. The butcher block conditioner, it has a blend of vitamin E, beeswax, and carnauba wax, which helps repel water, and it is what you want to use to maintain your cutting board. Doesn't take a lot. Now, one thing I will say about this product is if you keep it in the house, which is fine, it will come out in a little thicker state. I keep this in my shop, and it gets warmer temperatures out there, so it will come out more liquefied, and that's okay too. Either way, it works just fine. But without further ado, I also want to explain this is a serving board. This is one I've made with whiskey barrel staves, and I've coated it with epoxy. This is a serving board. We're not going to cut on this board. We're going to use it to present food, to serve food with. A cutting board is going to be a utensil that we're actually going to slice meat on. We're going to dice and slice vegetables and fruits. It's a utilitarian device. I hope you enjoyed tonight's video. Okay. In oiling a freshly made cutting board, we want to apply a liberal amount, and this is my favorite part. This is when the grains pop. And I'm going to take a rag or a paper towel, and I'm going to spread it around. Get down in my juice groove good.
And you prefer a paper towel over a rag?
It's just convenient, easy, and it's
Disposable?
Yes, it's disposable. You want to make sure you do get all edges. A little trick I like is I like to lay 3 pens or 3 pencils down and let it rest on that to allow air to circulate. And that is our first coat. And if we will let this sit probably an hour, maybe 2, let it soak in before we think about applying a second coat. And you can see where it's starting to soak in certain areas. And the bubbles are fine. This is not a polyurethane or any type of finish. This is an oil that's soaking in.
Can we stop now?
Now here's a board that we treated about 2.5 hours ago with 1 coat. And it's ready for its second coat, but I'll do that later off camera. But you can see what it looks like. It literally soaks in, and there's a little slight oily film to it. If I let this sit till tomorrow morning, I'd wipe it off with the paper towel, and it'd be good to go. Okay.
No.
As you can see, this board, it's dried out. I mean, it's not beyond repair or anything. It'd be perfectly fine. But we want to treat this as you would treat your new cutting board that you get from me. Periodically, maybe once a month, once every 3 months. Just depends on the environment. You'll have to just look at your board and tell. One thing I like to do here on maintenance for the...
Can I cut to her?
Sure. Seems like we have a guest. Toots? Toots. For the homeowner, the shelf, use a clean terry cloth towel. And when you're done, you will store it in a Ziploc bag.
The cloth.
And
The cloth.
the cloth in the Ziploc bag. And it will get a buildup of that on there. Make your bottle go further, but also because this will not turn rancid, you can periodically just pull your rag out, give it a quick wipe down, and you're back on the road. So remember, this is a little thinner because it's been in my shop. And I think I forgot to pull the seal off. Doesn't take near as much.
Or do you have to let it sit?
You will have to let this sit and let it absorb, soak in. Let it soak overnight, and then the next morning just wipe it dry with a clean paper towel. Make sure you do all sides and edges. For this demonstration, I'm just going to do the top. And it's done. I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight for our first ever video for our new YouTube channel. We're on all social media formats. On Facebook, Clay Black-LBC Woodworks. On Twitter, @LBC Woodworks. And on Instagram, Clay Black LBC. You know, this is a whole new world for woodworking for me. My father, who was my mentor, he would have never dreamed of all this, and he probably would have said, oh, that's just silly. But that's okay. This is my way of sharing what I do with all of you. I hope you got something out of this, something you can put to use in your own kitchen. Again, thank you, and have a good evening.